This pistol is built almost entirely for one goal in mind: silence on the field. However, in the process of its creation, it continued down the line to be one of the most gas-efficient gas guns in all of Airsoft. It was designed to compete with AEGs at range, with BBs weighing in at 0.32 grams and up. It was designed by the biggest airsofter on Earth, and never did I imagine that person would send one to me. This new pistol is sure to be a center of a lot of discussions on tech forums and in the comments of this video, and of course in other future Airsoft videos. But let's see if Novritsch made one of the greatest pistols, or if this Mark 23 replica just falls short. This is the SSX-23. The precision inner barrel that runs to the very end of the outer barrel, the fiber optic sights, the aluminum slide, all these things and so much more make this piece from Novritsch what it is, and I can't ignore any of the upgrades done to his Mark 23 that most of us are accustomed to. I've already reviewed some high-end pistols before, and even a custom pistol that sold for over $300 US, so I really need to take a look at this piece closely, especially since I expect these to sell out pretty quickly. I don't want to skip something important about the SSX-23, so we'll start off where we always begin, with the unboxing. Thanks to Novritsch, of course, we got pretty much the entire package here, with everything from an extra 25-round double-stack green gas magazine to the suppressor and even the foam to fill it, all in their own boxes. We also have hardware to mount a tactical rail onto the slide of the pistol, a styrofoam box with a bottle of Novritsch's biodegradable 0.36 grams sniper BBs, and then we have the pistol case itself. I'm only missing a Picatinny rail that's supposed to be drilled into the frame of the pistol, but that can be had on Novritsch's website whenever it's needed. I always like getting an actual case with my guns, so this is a nice start. Opening it up, everything here is pretty straightforward. We have the SSX-23 on full display, right next to its packaged Allen wrench that we'll need to make hop-up adjustments later. But don't forget about the startup booklet underneath the styrofoam that will refer you to the Novritsch website for more info on the SSX-23. It looks like Novritsch actually signed this booklet, and the safety graphics are funny to look at. Do not be stupid. Well, I'm sure that most of us have already failed that in Airsoft already. Anyway, it's pretty nice getting just about everything to show off this pistol, and I'm sure whoever wins this gun in the upcoming raffle I have planned will enjoy all of this. Alright, so this is the SSX-23 by Novritsch, a pistol that has been teased and tested for several months on Nov's main channel and secondary channel. This is also the same pistol that is causing a lot of people to judge it and rant about it on my Instagram and Facebook, but we'll start off here by saying that this pistol comes in at 1.9 pounds or 860 grams. This comes in at just a little bit more than the Tokyo Marui Mark 23 that I'll be comparing this replica to throughout this review. This is due mostly to the aluminum slide. This slide features a few upgrades from the standard Mark 23, like the fiber optic sights up top that stand out much more than the white dots that come with the Tokyo Marui model. These sights got the attention of a lot of people that I handed this pistol to, and I have to admit that these are a nice touch. Even if you need something more than these sights, Novritsch included points to screw on a small tactical rail for mini pistol style red dots. I don't really have a small red dot, but hey, a full-sized ACOG should work. Then resting in the slide, we have a metal outer barrel topped with 16mm clockwise threads. Keep in mind that these threads are 16mm clockwise threads and not the common 14mm counterclockwise threading. You'll have limited options for muzzle devices, but thankfully we have the suppressor for these threads that I'll go over in a minute. Pulling the slide, you'll find nothing really important. Since this is a non-blowback pistol, pulling the slide back isn't necessary. It doesn't expose the hop-up adjuster. It will load another round into the chamber if you do rack it back, which is guaranteeing a double feed or a jam, so I wouldn't do that. The pistol loads itself as you pull the trigger, but you can clear a jam with the mag out and by using the slide. The slide catch is nearly pointless, however. It won't keep the slide back at all. It doesn't even act as a secondary safety like you'd find on the Tokyo Marui model, since Novritsch didn't much like that function, as it led to a bit of confusion and unneeded deaths on the field. The real safety can be found on the back of the frame on both sides and can only be activated when the hammer is back. This is the only switch on this pistol besides the magazine release, so you can't say that this is a complex gun. For the polymer frame, we get a tack rail for compatible flashlights and lasers, but you'll need a proprietary rail that'll need to be drilled into the larger rail. I really wish there was a simpler adapter that could be had, and that I didn't actually have to damage the pistol to put on a rail like that. so I have to admit that I don't like this. Novritsch did make things a little easier by including a proper drill bit for that package, and by even making the points to drill through clear when you look at the frame from the inside. It also probably sucks to a lot of people out there to know that you won't be getting the classic laser flashlight combo that we so often see with the Mark 23. But in reality, this pistol is going for practicality and performance, which never really suited the airsoft replicas of those devices. It's a shame, I know, but we'll just have to deal with it. Next up, we have the Mark 23's enormous trigger guard with the hooked metal trigger inside, and the metal magazine release underneath. The release easily drops the mostly metal magazine, and should be easy to use even if you're not used to the USP style of controls. Tokyo Marui Mark 23 magazines will also fit in this pistol, but I found that when using the TM magazines, that they wouldn't drop freely like the SSX magazines would. And for the most part, that wraps up the majority of the frame, besides the decocking lever that is molded into the polymer, and the trademarks that Novritsch added onto the SSX-23. They're all located near the texturing of the pistol grip, and you might have noticed that this comes with the unique serial number on the right side. Everything else on the outside is what you would expect if you've ever seen a Mark 23. Single and double action exposed hammer, small lanyard loop on the base of the grip. Overall, huge pistol. The points I really like so far would be the sights and how the 6.03 precision inner barrel runs to the very end of the outer barrel, and how the gas router behind the plastic magazine lips is denser for better trigger pulls. And any non-blowback double action pistol needs all the help it can get, since the trigger pulls are not exactly the crispest or shortest out there in the game. The suppressor is another piece I admire about this pistol, as it can be taken down in segments to shorten the overall length. When fully put together and screwed onto the SSX-23, this pistol is a little bit longer than the Tokyo Marui model and its suppressor. However, with that extra inch of length means more space for more foam to quiet the report of the SSX. You can of course screw the suppressor onto the Tokyo Marui model and vice versa with the Marui suppressor on the SSX if you just prefer that look more. And since you can break the SSX suppressor down, you can even do this. This does look pretty ridiculous, but I couldn't resist but to do it. Just please shove one layer of foam in here if you do run your SSX-23 like this. I did find that this suppressor does scratch pretty easily, so if you try your best to keep your guns flawless, well, you'll probably have to just give up if you plan on using the suppressor with any kit. Now, the suppressor doesn't come with the SSX-23 when you order it, and it costs another $47 extra, so be aware of that if you're ready to order this setup. Inside the SSX is where the rest of the pros can be found. This pistol is made to fit the needs of a player like Novritsch, so a quiet and precise sidearm is the goal. To do this, a Maple Leaf Autobot bucking was installed to hop BBs up to 0.46 grams. Next, a TDC Maple Leaf pressure plate was fitted to work with a hop-up that can be easily adjusted with that Allen wrench that we got in the case. The mag well is also a bit tighter to reduce wobble between the magazine and the well. And then on that 25 round double stack magazine that I would only load to 23 rounds, we have the opening to drop BBs through to rush along reloading. Takedown is rather simple, but my SSX takedown lever was rather tight, so I used a punch to take it out so I could take the rest of the slide apart. It's all pretty good looking in here, and you shouldn't need to do any deep cleans with normal use with this pistol due to its non-blowback nature. Just be sure to put the slide back on properly by lining up and rocking the slide against these pegs so you don't damage the pistol, before pushing back in the slide release while holding the slide back a bit. Running this large pistol can be problematic with a fully assembled suppressor, and anyone can imagine how difficult it would be to unholster a fully customized Mark 23. And that's exactly why the DTD holster was created. I didn't receive this holster, but I've seen through Novritsch's videos that it's a quick and simple low-weight holster that works great with something like this, even if it has a flashlight, sight, and a full-length foam-filled suppressor on it. And it even has a spot for the Allen wrench, so you can take it with you on the field without losing it. So I'd say now that I do like those sights, like I mentioned, I love the TDC that allows you to use BBs like .32s, .38s, and even .42 gram BBs. Gas consumption was also stellar with just a normal can of green gas, but I did compare it to the Tokyo Marui Mark 23 when I had the chance at GI Tactical in Plano, Texas. Now, the Tokyo Marui Mark 23 is known for its legendary legendary gas consumption, and I got 103 shots off with a single gas fill on a 103-degree Texas day with its own magazine. But the SSX did not amount to the same prestige with the first usage out of the case. Instead, I got 85 shots off with the first gas fill that ever went through that magazine. I then swapped the magazines around and refilled them before getting 98 shots off with the SSX-23 using the Marui Magazine, and 161 shots with the Marui Mark 23 with the SSX magazine. So the SSX was still looking pretty good, but not as good as the classic Marui at first. So I used the magazine a couple more times to break it in and purge it of gas before going to the chronograph with a bottle of 0.2 gram BBs to get these readings. And it looks like this will be a pistol that no CQB arena should have any problems with, thanks to its 300 and lower feet per second readings. I then continued to shoot through the chronograph until the magazine was completely empty of gas, and I guess doing a purge was a good idea, because I was able to get 140 shots off during this test. 0.2 gram BBs is not exactly what this pistol is made for though. I'd recommend that you really invest in some 0.3 gram BBs and up. Thankfully, I have a few different weights of BBs to choose from in my collection. At range, the SSX-23 is pretty damn impressive with a properly dialed in hop-up and those 0.36 gram Novritsch biodegradable sniper BBs, thanks to the location of the hop-up adjustment screw that's pushing straight down on the pressure plate. 150 feet is no challenge for this pistol, but you will need to get used to the long pull on the double action trigger if you want to stay consistent at range, or else you'll be all over the place. But with some practice, you'll be getting ranges that will compete with higher end AEGs pretty easily. I've reviewed a lot of battery powered guns that still can't match this non-blowback pistol's range and accuracy. So as a secondary for snipers, this is a pretty solid choice, and if you have a bunch of extra magazines, you could make this a pseudo primary. Even with the suppressor on and even when running out of gas, this pistol did great until the very end, so for range, I give the SSX-23 my respect. A tip that I give to make easy shots even easier and quieter is to first pull back the hammer before taking a shot. This will make the trigger much easier to pull. So FPS readings and gas consumption is great and probably could be even better with higher end green gas. Range is excellent and the BBs just sail along peacefully, but this pistol isn't all sunshine and rainbows. I'll be the first to say it before I see a whole bunch of comments about it, that the suppressor being a separate piece that needs to be bought is kinda nonsense. The Mark 23 suppressor is an iconic piece of the pistol, like the folding stock on a SPOS 12, so seeing that it costs another $47 to get is a pretty big bummer. The gun just feels naked without it. The DIY pick rail also bothers me. Some people won't see having to drill into their frame as a big deal, but for me I think that shouldn't be necessary. I would have preferred to see a quick detach adaptable pick rail. People not familiar to non-blowback guns will also hate how long the trigger pull is, but that wouldn't be the gun's fault. For the easy to brush off thud that the SSX-23 belts, that a lot of players wouldn't even realize is an airsoft gun being shot at them even without the suppressor on, I'd say that the longer than normal trigger pull is a fair trade-off. I've heard many stories about how people get hit with the Tokyo Marui Mark 23 and don't even realize where it came from or if it was even a BB that hit them in the first place. So since both pistols sound pretty much the same, I'd have to give the SSX-23 another stamp of approval. This is a quiet and modular pistol, and it can be even more stealthy with some thick tape at the end of the suppressor. I saw Dayton of the House Gamers Airsoft channel do it on his Instagram, and it actually worked when I tried it. The SSX-23 can be decked out with a sight, an underframe pick rail with some modifications, the suppressor can be foam filled and set to 3 to 4 sizes, it's long range worthy, it can hop heavier BBs, and the FPS readings aren't too high to cause anyone any real pain. And it's all built pretty well. This is a solid pistol, and I'm very impressed with it. The list of upgrades including the aluminum slide, fiber optic sights, the new bucking, precision barrel, the TDC mod that I'm very thankful to see as a reviewer, and so on just put another nail into the coffin. I love how CO2 mags are already being worked on so players in colder environments can rock an SSX, and that even an SSX carbine conversion kit is being thought up. Novritsch really set up his website with a bunch of support for this new pistol, from parts, accessories, tools, muzzle adapters for 14mm counterclockwise threads, a trace unit, maintenance kits, and more. But when it comes to the SSX-23 just as a pistol with nothing else with it, is it really worth $135? That's what they're going for right now. I know people are buying these things up fast, especially the die-hard fans of Novritsch, but is this something that you'd buy after this review? If so, then Would you buy it for $185? I want to see those comments down below about this Novritsch SSX-23. I want to see thoughts, opinions, and recommendations that would make this an even better pistol from techs, longtime airsofters, noobs, and even non-airsofters who are just watching this review. But until I see those comments, I really need to thank Novritsch and his crew for offering me to work with them and for allowing me to give my honest opinions about this super hyped up release. Not many companies or people like when I rag on their guns, because sometimes I get a bit picky, but they allowed me to be myself, so I really appreciated that. You can find the SSX-23, the accessories I showed off here, and more with the links provided in the description so you can make your own order as soon as possible. I also want to thank you for watching this review, and hopefully in a week I can really thank you by giving away all this right here to one lucky fan of USAirsoft. I'm going to make the giveaway very simple so anyone can join in, and I'll upload a video about how to enter when the giveaway begins. But before I go, I want to thank these awesome commenters for their support, and I'd like to ask you to subscribe to help USAirsoft break 170,000 subscribers. But until that next video drops from the city of San Antonio, this has been Scott Hollenbeck, and I will be sure to see you all next time. So why did you want this pistol?
Why did I want this? Because it's got a metal slide, it's got a modular suppressor, and it's got a little bit more upgradability. Well, it comes pre-upgraded out of the box for one. It's got TDC. It's got what I believe to be an edgy barrel stock. Yeah, I mean, it's just you don't have to spend a ton of money to upgrade these like you do this one. Yeah, this is my personal one right here. So this is the TM one. The TM one uses the same mags as these, I'm assuming. It's got a plastic slide. It's got an aftermarket TDC, aftermarket barrel, aftermarket bucking, aftermarket pressure plate, which you all had to buy separately. This one comes with all that. So, I mean, well, let me take the bag out. Honestly, the weight difference is not that different, which is surprising for an aluminum slide gun. That's what I wanted to see, really, was the weight of it. Tactical abuse. That's absolutely great.
Okay, so I don't really expect this to suppress anything since there's only one piece of styrofoam in here and there's no real length here. It's just this chode of a suppressor, but whatever. Yeah, absolutely not. It almost acts as an amplifier now. Okay, so we went from the chode suppressor to the smallest viable one you can make out of the full-length suppressor. Let's see how quiet it is. Still pretty quiet. And we're out of gas finally. Okay, so now let's see how the SSX-23 performs without a suppressor and then with the full-length suppressor on, and then you guys can make your judgments. All right. Major difference.
Scott, did he send you two?
takedown is rather simple, but my SSX takedown lever was